News Radio 840 WHAS. Good Sunday morning. Bob Sokoler and the Louisville Real Estate Show here with you until the top of the hour. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday. With us is Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices. He owns those over there, and he does a great job not only at getting your loan closed, but also at doing a variety of other things, evictions, appeals for judgments, variety of things, including wills. And let me tell you, that's an important thing for everybody. We should talk about that down the road. Make sure you have a will in place. So that's a big plus, and we are thrilled to have him with us. Also here from Swan Financial, one of the head honchos over there, Randy Rocky. By the way, Chuck's phone number at Crosby Law Office, 499-6360. Randy's phone number, if you want to apply for a mortgage, they do a great job of getting you to the closing table. And Randy's number over at Swan is 6450736. And if you're thinking about selling your home, I can help. That's my job. I list and sell a lot of homes, and very quickly, based on whatever you want in terms of the time frame. You can reach me, and if you're looking to buy, we have agents that can help you as well. 10 agents. You can reach me anytime on my cell phone, 376-5483, or go to bobsellslouisville.com. All right, we're going to start things off with Chuck. A question for you in a moment. Let us first acknowledge the fact the Fed raised interest rates another quarter of a point this past Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Randy, I know you'd have to give out your NMN number, whatever that is, and then tell us where are rates hovering in this time frame right now? So people
sure, it's NMLS number 26362, and we have VA rates in the high fives, which about 5.625, APRs 5.72, and that's unheard of. So we have just off the charts VA rate. The conventional's running in the high sixes, and FHA in the mid to low sixes. So that's where rates are currently.
All right. We move over now. We want to acknowledge the Fed having met this past Wednesday, not ignore that. Okay. We move to Chuck Crosby at the Crosby Law Office. Charlie has changed his name because he is an area real estate agent. And Chuck, I'm not sure how much you're able to get in on this, but I can. He received a repair request that simply referenced the inspection report summary. He's wondering, is that allowed? So let me explain basically for all of our listeners how the system works. You put your home under contract, and then the buyer typically has an inspection. The inspector puts together a report. The report is then given to the buyer. The buyer and the buyer agent then go through the report, eliminating anything that is not structural or safety. So if it's a cosmetic thing, like there's a stain in the carpet, well, you should have seen the stain in the carpet is what they're saying when you looked at the home and based your offer on the fact that you may have to replace the carpet. So visual stuff, not in the repair request. Structural safety typically are, depending upon how serious they are. So the normal way that most agents will do this is there's a form, or you can use your own form, that basically says that the buyer is requesting the following repairs. And then you list each one of the repair requests in this form. And the form can say fix or replace this. And you can copy and paste it directly from the inspection report, but you don't normally reference the inspection report, which is what apparently Charlie is saying. So this agent just simply said, see this attached summary and repair it or replace it. Chuck, legally, any fight on this thing? Do you have any concerns?
Well, I mean, the concern I have is with the agent who would accept that as a repair request. I would immediately, were it me, say, I need a little more specificity. That's all there is to that. It seems somewhat lazy. I don't know how often that happens, but no, you don't know. Just attaching a sheet of remarks made by a third party isn't actually even a question, or isn't even a request. You have to. Words matter. If I just put, it reminds me of one of the first lawsuits I was ever involved in. Builder wrote down all the changes that had been made and the cost to do it, but that's all it said. Both parties understood that when they signed off on the bottom, they were saying, yes, I will pay you for these things. But in reality, what you have is a piece of paper with a bunch of numbers on it that mean nothing. It doesn't say, I promise to pay to you. It just light bulb, $10. Is that a please do this? Is it hey, that's just what light bulbs cost? You never know. I'd say the same thing here, because when you read those, it's not grammatically even in the form of a request. It's just, hey, the light bulb might be, not working. Well, how is that a request?
Yeah. And I've seen this before, and I've seen the problems, and you're right on all counts.
It's just ambiguous. It's ambiguous.
So agents, if I know we have agents listening to us, if you're thinking about taking the shortcuts, let's face it, we need to do the right stuff the way we've been taught to do it, and put all the details in there on the repair request. Yeah.
The underlying rule of thumb is a short pencil is better than a long memory any day of the week.
Okay, I like that.
So just write it out.
We move over to Randy Rocky. By the way, if you'd like to see a copy of this show, we actually put this up on YouTube, and it's a simple thing. Just go to LouisvilleAnswers.com. That's LouisvilleAnswers.com, and that'll redirect you to our YouTube channel where you'll see this in its entirety. Also, if you'd like to see what buyers and sellers are saying about us, we got a couple of things you can do. Go to LouisvilleZillow.com. Just type in Louisville Zillow or LouisvilleGoogle.com, and you'll see some of our reviews. Randy Rocky over at Swan Financial. June has an interesting question about privacy issues. In the email she sent us, she asks, can her creditor ask her, June, about alimony, child support, separate maintenance payments that she has or that her co-signer receive? How detailed can they go, Randy?
Yes, absolutely. That's part of a debt-to-income ratio, which will let her know if she can be approved or not approved. So if you're paying out, obviously it goes against a debt. It's a debt. If you're receiving, it goes as income, as long as there's 3 years at least left on it. So how far can you go? You can, anything has to do with actual income is you definitely can go. As far as other things, race and that things of that nature, they do not to divulge that. But as far as anything that goes with income, yes, that is open game and something that we have to have and understand. Yeah.
So, Randy, when is it too far? How does a potential buyer who's making a mortgage application or maybe just a credit card application know when a potential creditor has gone too far in asking too serious of a question?
That's a great question. I guess you would. I don't know if it is. I don't know how to answer that because, and the reason I say that is that we really need to know in a lot of situations how many assets they have. But in certain, like if you're in a zero money down loan, you really don't need a lot of assets. So how much do you need to ask for that? Yeah. So hopefully your lender on any situation will keep the minimum amount of paperwork financially they need. And that's something we do a pretty good job at. And I would think that most lenders do, because all it is collecting more information, which can at times just be, too much information can be a problem. I mean, it really can. So why go there if you don't have to?
Yeah, here's what I would suggest. Chuck, see what you think of this answer. I think if you check with several other loan officers or credit people that you're applying to, ask them if they're this invasive or what their thoughts are. That'll give you a litmus test. What do you think of whether they're being too invasive?
Yeah, well, that's, it just depends.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just trying to give people who are listening to us kind of a gauge on how to determine if there's too much information being asked for.
Mm-hmm. I can't answer that because it does depend on your credit. It does depend on your past history. Some package that I get from a mortgage company will be 80 pages. The same company the next week is 120 pages.
That's a great point.
Honest to God, after 32 years of doing this, I can't for the life of me decide what's going to matter to them on any given day.
And it really is interesting Chuck mentions that, because we're more we're proactive on the front end, and Chuck, I think you'll agree with this and let me know if you don't, but then you have to become reactive. So certain things fit the box every time. Yeah. But if you're too proactive, then you're opening up a Pandora's box. And so it's really like you said, Chuck, it's everything's different all the time. It really is. And that's going to make it tough for AI.
All right,
really
let's keep going forward here. All right, we move back over to Chuck Crosby, the Crosby Law Offices. Marshall writes in that he just bought a home 2 months ago, and he's looking for a copy of his covenants, conditions, restrictions, homeowner declarations, rules, and regulations. He says his homeowner association wants to charge $200 for the documents. He's wondering, is that legal, Chuck?
Is it legal? You know, I wouldn't think that they could get away with that. Presumably, you can get that from the prior owner. And I have run into some HOAs that say that, but they always seem to back down. Now, some of that stuff is recorded, and I find it hard to believe that you could actually prosecute a claim based on a failure to follow a rule that I would refuse to tell you about unless you pay me money. That just doesn't make sense. I would expect he could probably call one of the board members and say, hey, can you shoot me this information? Now, depending on the HOA, a lot of them are online, and you can just pick that stuff up. Like if, I guess I shouldn't name names of property management companies, but a lot of those will have the actual docs online.
But they charge you, Chuck. I'm telling you, they're charging you. Yeah.
No, they are to some extent. So if company number one over here that we would all recognize immediately, they will tell you to go through the third party who will charge the $200 to get that.
Yeah.
So it's not like saying, I'm going to charge you $200 for these documents. It's, I'm going to send you to this third party who will charge you to go
so
through
they're not
and
the
get
bad
the
guy. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, that same company, if you go to their website, they will have community downloads. Mm-hmm. And those community downloads will frequently include the CCRs, all the restrictions, the bylaws.
For free.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
All I can tell you is that it's become a profit center for a lot of management companies.
Don't even start me on that. That third party of whom we speak, I called them up personally myself.
Yeah.
And I said, you're telling me you're going to charge $250 to tell me that these people don't owe you any money. Right. He promptly hung up on me.
I love it.
Yeah. So.
We'll move on because that's not what we're going to do here. A reminder, if you want to see what sellers are saying about us, go to LouisvilleSellersTalk.com. That's the Sokoler team. Just go LouisvilleSellersTalk.com. There's some past interviews that we've done with our sellers. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to take a home improvement IQ test. So don't touch the sledgehammer until you take the quiz. We'll go to one more question for Randy before we take the break. Randy, as concise as possible, Natalie has a friend who's helping her navigate the mortgage process, but she's not sure how to determine what type of mortgage is right for her. What are the types of mortgages, Randy, that we can go through? Normal, conventional, what else?
FHA, VA, KHC, if they're in Kentucky, no money down. USDA, if it's in a rural area, and there are some income restrictions. And what is interesting right now, a lot of situations, even with a higher credit score, it is more advantageous, just like one today, to do an FHA loan over a conventional loan. I still give the client options, but if they're putting 5% down, in a lot of situations, FHA is so much better because rates are really much different than conventional right now.
Okay, that's interesting. Good information. And the best thing I could tell you is to contact a lender that you trust who will walk you through what each one does for you on a regular basis. And as we go to a break, let me just say the guy who I recommend is right here talking to us, Randy Rocky over at Swan Financial. They do a great job. You can reach out to Randy at 645-0736, not only to get a definition of what each of the acronyms stands for in what he just mentioned, but also if by chance you want to apply for a mortgage. Also, the guy to go to for not only for closings, but also for things like titles, having them run, secure deed of property, sold by the courts, wills, power of attorney. Chuck Crosby, who is the head guy over at the Crosby Law Office, thank goodness, because his name is on that would be a little awkward, door. Wouldn't it? It would, wouldn't it? And you can reach Chuck at his phone number is 499-6360. If you are looking to sell your home now or in the future, I am hopefully here for you day and night, weekends as well. You can reach out to me anytime, day or night, and the weekends, right after the show, in fact, 376-5483, or go to bobsellslouisville.com and just start filling out the information. It's not very detailed, but it will help you. We're going to be back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS, Bob Sokoler, Louisville Real Estate Show here with you until the top of the hour. And continuing with us, Chuck Crosby. He's the head guy with his name on the door at the Crosby Law Offices, who does closings and a variety of other things, including wills and power of attorney. So if you haven't had a will done, please consider getting it done. And you can call Chuck at 499-6360. Also, here with us, Randy Rocky, Swan Financial. They do a great job of getting you pre-approved for a loan, and you can reach out to Randy at 645-0736. My thanks go out to Barbara Corcoran of Shark Tank fame for her endorsement of us. You may have just heard her commercial. And you can reach me if you're thinking of selling a home. We'd love to be able to help you. You can reach me anytime, day or night, and weekends as well, 376-5483, or go to bobsellslouisville.com. You know, we put out a variety of things every week. If you'd like to see some of the videos we produce, which are timely and information backed, you can head to LouisvilleHomesTV.com. That's LouisvilleHomesTV.com. And if by chance you want to get a question in on the show like we do on a regular basis, it's Bob at WeSellLouisville.com. That's Bob at WeSellLouisville.com to get your question on the air. Just tell me if you want me to read your name or not. All right, we're taking a quiz, IQ, Ken, and we're to use Chuck and Randy as the local contestants here. So it's going to be a yes or a no. And here's an example. We'll start with this one. And folks, listen, play along, please, at home. Please, no wagering. If you are not in your forever home, it's a good idea to consider the resale value of your upcoming updates, right? Because it really is which one is going to be better in resale is what the premise of this is. So take this quiz, improve, let's see how your IQ is before you pick up a sledgehammer. All right, here we go. Which home improvement has the biggest return on investment? Is it a bathroom or is it a main bedroom? I should probably have Jeopardy music playing in the background, but we won't.
Yeah.
So what is it, bathroom or a main bedroom?
Bathroom.
I'll go with bathroom as well.
All right, 2 for bathroom. Here's the answer. On average, homeowners recoup 26.6% of the costs of adding a high-end bathroom compared to 22.7% of the cost for an upscale main bedroom. So both our contestants win.
Yeah.
That's 1 point for each of you. Next question. Which replacement window gets you a bigger bang for your buck? Actually, it could be a replacement of a window or a garage door. What would you pick, window or garage door? Gentlemen?
I would have a hard time with it. I would say
it's only a half-hour show, Randy.
Window.
Okay, Chuck?
I'm going to go with garage door.
All right, so we have a split here. Okay. The answer, whether vinyl or wood windows are expensive to replace and they don't typically hold their value. On the flip side, an upscale garage door costs around $4,302. The average resale value is $4,418. Yes, that is more than a 100% return on your investment, which means a garage door wins. Chuck for 2 points. Randy behind now with 1 point. On to our next question. Which mid-range remodel is better for return on investment? A kitchen or a bathroom? Remodel, mid-range, return on investment, a kitchen or a bathroom?
Kitchen.
Kitchen from Randy Rocky, who's behind by 1 point. Mr. Crosby.
I'm going to go with kitchen.
Kitchen as well. Oh, he's going to stay the route here. The answer, a mid-range bathroom remodel typically offers 66.7% return on your investment, while you recoup about 41.8% of the costs associated with the mid-range kitchen redo.
Oh, wow.
Both of you. So it's still 2-1. Chuck's ahead. And we move on to another question. Which outdoor addition has a better return, a deck or a patio? Deck or patio?
Deck.
Deck for Randy. Chuck?
I'm going to go with deck.
All right. Decks, while more expensive to build, typically have a higher return than patios. In 2023, the national average for recoup costs for wood decks was about 50.2%, while the more expensive composite decks were 39.8%, but still decks beat patios. So both of you gain a point. It's now 3-2. All right. Which update is better for resale value, a new roof or new siding? This is an interesting question, folks. Do you go with a new roof or new siding? Come on, half-hour show.
I would say new roof.
Roof, Chuck?
Roof.
New siding is slightly more lucrative, especially if the material is vinyl. You'll typically recoup 94.7% of the costs for siding. Replacing your roof gets you about 60% of recoup costs on average. So that's both of you failing again. 3-2 is the score. This is the last question. Can we make it double points?
Yes.
Okay. Of course you'd say that. Chuck's got to agree. I don't know if Chuck's agreeing to that.
No.
We'll stay with single point. All right. Final question. Which home feature, when mentioned in the listing, may achieve a higher sales price? If I put in my new listing, this house has an outdoor kitchen, will that beat if I put in the listing, this home has a home office? Outdoor kitchen or home office? But of course, if we put it in the listing, we better have that, right? Okay.
Yeah, you better.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with home office.
Home office, Randy, got it. Chuck?
I hate to follow on the coattails there, but those outdoor kitchens can be very expensive.
Yeah.
But then everybody has a home office.
Okay, so you got to make up your mind.
Home office.
Home office. So there's no way you're going to lose at this point. Right? So that's right. You
strategery.
It is, whether you like it or not. You hedged your bet.
I win.
You win no matter what, but a Zillow analysis, for anybody who's wondering, of 1.98 million home sales from 2022 found that a listing mentioning the outdoor kitchens were associated with a 2% price premium, while a Zoom room or home office space was associated with a 1.6% price premium in 2021. There was no association of the listing feature with an increased sales price in 2022 of the home office. So based on that, it would have been, if you went for the home outdoor kitchen, you would have really achieved even a bigger lead. But in the long run, you retain the title of champ on this one. 3-2 is the win over Randy Rocky. All right. It's kind of interesting.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. We appreciate that. If you want to see a replay of this show or play this quiz again, go to LouisvilleAnswers.com. That's LouisvilleAnswers.com. By the way, all of our past shows are on our website, WeSellLouisville.com. You got to hunt around for it, but they are there. We've got 7-8 years of past shows. All right, we go back to the questions. Let's go to Randy. Potter has listened to our show for a number of occasions and heard us talk about the down payment for a mortgage being between 3% and 5%. He's wondering, is that still the case even today? He's wondering, what other money does he have to come up with for purchasing a home? So make this quick, because I got one more question to get in.
Yep. You can go zero money down, 3%, 5%, or 3.5% FHA. And if you get 3% seller concessions, which on a $250,000 home, that would be $7,500. Then you would just bring a net, whatever I just discussed, 3%, 3.5%, or 5%. So on a $250,000 home, if you're bringing 3%, you would just bring $7,500 plus appraisal, which is about $650, and home inspection runs about $400. So you're going to bring that plus about $1,100.
So you got two piles of money. One is the down payment. The other is the closing cost, basically, is what it comes down to, right? Yeah. Okay. Right. So, but a loan officer will go over this with you folks. So hopefully you're going to be well in tune with what the costs are well before you have to worry about coughing up the money. All right, Chuck, our last question today for you. Sandra lives in a condo building and has a problem with the roof over her condo. Apparently, the gutters on the roof overflowed onto her balcony. Her ceiling and walls in the area need to be torn out, and there is other problems that it's created, the water. The condo association says, hey, despite the gutters on the roof, it's Sandra's responsibility. She says, I cannot believe this is correct. Any indication of what she needs to do on this?
The first thing is you got to fix it, okay? And fixing it will set in stone the damages. The idea is you have to mitigate any damages that you've received so they don't get worse. Well, go fix it, and now we know what the damages are. And then approach the board with whoever went and fixed everything is going to have, or ought to have, the ability to determine why it happened. And then if it's because of the roof and the HOA hasn't been maintaining it, typically roofs are part of the HOA's purview, then they should take care of it to some extent. Okay. Usually HOAs will take it to the drywall. If something's been damaged, they'll take it to the drywall, and then you're responsible for the paint and everything on out. But I'd take it to the HOA board, say, look, guys, if it wasn't for the fact that you didn't maintain this, I wouldn't have this damage. That's a pretty good case there.
Would you say that some condo associations, their restrictions and the CCRs, they're different, so that, because I can remember
Some of them are.
Yeah, so like some will say the walls in, others might say the windows will be included by the home owner as opposed to the board. And is it not true, Chuck, that ultimately the condo owner loses anyway, because even if the condo association pays for it, they're going to be assessed?
But that's a much smaller loss. It's like, if you have 47 units, it's 1/47th that you would have to pay. So I don't like looking at it that way. Plus it really is the HOA's responsibility to take care of everyone I've ever seen, the roof. And if the roof is not properly maintained and it causes damage to the unit, well, then they're responsible for fixing the unit. In every set of documents I've seen. The issue that you're mentioning with, the windows aren't included. Well, that's, if you break the windows or if something like that's going on.
Yeah.
If the board, through doing some act, broke it, well, it's the board's fault, not yours. So limited common elements like windows, doors, anything that's, for the individual unit's use, typically does fall upon the unit owner. But why was it damaged is the thing. So I don't know. I'd bring it up to the board, and I will say that boards have been sued for not following through on their responsibilities.
We may take that up on the next show in terms of what's the process for going after a board. I'm getting a lot of emails because of the things we've been talking about. All right, we are out of time. By the way, next week on the show, 12 things your plumber wishes that you knew. Yes, indeed. Where our thanks, of course, to our dear friends Chuck Crosby, the owner of the Crosby Law Office, who does a variety of things, including closings, but also wills, powers of attorney, commissioner sale, foreclosure defense. You can reach Chuck directly at 499-6360. Also, thank you to Randy Rocky, Swan Financial. You can reach Randy if you're thinking about applying for a loan or want to know more about what the process is like. Randy's direct number is 645-0736. And if you are thinking of selling your home this year, next year, or beyond, and you want some information, kind of a path to follow, I have no problem coming out, talking to you on the phone or even by Zoom, free, no obligation, just to help you with the navigation of the process of selling and buying a home. You can reach me anytime on my cell phone at 376-5483. You can also go to bobsellslouisville.com and then just start filling out the information. We are out of time, folks. See you next Sunday on News Radio 840 WHAS.